This is the Ultimate Summoner Class Guide for Terraria 1.4.5, including fundamentals of a summoner class, weapon or armor progression, playstyle tips, and secret mechanics you need to understand before becoming the guy that has beaten Terraria as a summoner. So let's start with the fundamentals. How this class works. Basically, there are two types of weapons you use as a summoner: the whips and minion summoning staffs. By definition, whips are summon weapons that swing in an arcing motion instead of summoning a secondary character, meaning when you click, it swings and you deal the damage. And minion summoning staffs by the definition are summon weapons that spawn secondary characters which automatically attacks enemies within range, meaning you click, they spawn, they attack. Simple as that, okay? So now let's move to the secret mechanics. There are exactly two of them. The first one is called tag. To keep it simple, imagine this is putting a bullseye on an enemy with your whip to increase the damage dealt by the minions on that now tagged enemy. It's basically a damage buff to a single target. Almost every whip has that tag damage buff, except for Firecracker, of course. And the second secret mechanic is multi-hit penalty. When you hit two enemies, the first enemy will get the full 100% damage inflicted, but the second enemy's damage received will be lower due to the multi-hit penalty, which can range from 5% to whopping 60%. And that can negatively impact the fights more than you think. Before we get to the gear progression guide, let me give you the most crucial piece of advice first. Prepare yourself. And I am serious. You as a summoner, being a glass cannon, trust me, you will see the respawn time counter more than your own family. And now finally, after you grasped how summoner works, understanding its mechanics, and mentally prepare yourself for this class, you can enter the gear progression guide. Alright, so for the pre-bosses stage of the game, the best possible whip is the Snap Thorn. Crafted with 15 stingers, 3 vines and 12 jungle spores at the anvil. It has Jungle's Fury that increases attack speed by 12% for 3 seconds. And also this whip has 20% chance to inflict the poison debuff. Now for the best possible staff, it is the Fling Staff. Crafted with 6 Flings furs and 10 gold or platinum bars at a workbench. And the best non-craftable staff at this stage of the game is the Vampire Frog one. It has 12.5% chance dropping from the Wandering Eye Fish or Zombie Merman. That are the mini bosses during the Blood Moon. Now for the armor, the jungle armor is the best. But if you want to optimize it even more, swap the torso piece for the Flings fur coat. Now for accessories, the must-have one are the Feral Claws. For the rest of the slots, get movement accessories such as Hermes boots, Cloud in a bottle, Magluminescence, and so on. Also, if you need survivability, take the Band of Regeneration, and if you lack damage, the Sharktooth necklace is gonna do the job. So for the next stage, we are gonna do some little adjustments. Now thanks to the Hellstone and the Meteorite, you can get the Imp Staff and Star Crash. These weapons can bump up our DPS a bit, but you can also just keep the old ones. For armor, you need the Obsidian armor. And we can finally have some real summoner accessories, adding the Pygmy necklace and Apprentice's scarf / Squire's shield. And if you are playing on a expert or master mode, get the Shield of Cthulhu, and also Worm Scarf / Brain of Confusion. And now that Skeletron is dead, you can enter the dungeon without being touched inappropriately. Thanks to the bones and some cobwebs, now we can craft the Spinal Tap. And that's the only thing we can craft in this stage of the game actually. Now if you manage to kill the Wall of Flesh, congratulations, you entered the hard mode. So we will probably grab your hammer, bust some altars, spawn ores and grind for them, but then you realize there isn't much to craft, especially for summoner. Alright, there's the list of things you need, and I'm gonna go really quickly through them, so lock in. For whips, the Firecracker dropped by the Wall of Flesh is really good, and then there's the cool whip that can be crafted. For staffs, there's the Sanguine Staff. It is a drop from the Dread Nautilus. That is the hard mode Blood Moon mini boss. Then there's the Blade Staff. That is the drop from the Queen Slime. For armor, get the Spider Armor, and for accessories, the Summoning Emblem and Berserker's Glove are the upgrades here. Also, we should get some decent pair of wings too. So now, Plantera. Aside from bombing like half of your jungle to smithereens, you are gonna need to upgrade your arsenal. So for the whips, you should get the Durandal since you've killed tons and tons of mag bosses. Now for the staffs, the Spider Staff, you just need 16 Spider Fangs. But the Optic Staff is a little more complicated to get, but you can see the crafting recipe on the screen. For armor, the Hollowed Armor is undebatable here. And yeah, that's it. Before going into the pre-golem arsenal, I need to clear that Kaleidoscope and Terra Prisma are available at this stage of the game. But it is not a necessity to kill a golem. So I'm not gonna include them in here yet, okay? So, for the whips, the new Plantera's whip is kinda decent, but it's not the best. I would say the best is the Morningstar for the post-Plantera dungeon, so you should go for that. Since you are in the dungeon, you can acquire the Desert Tiger Staff if you somehow manage to land your hands on a Desert Key. But also there's the Deadly Sphere Staff that is dropped by the Deadly Spheres in the Solar Eclipse event. Now for armor, the Tiki Armor is the best option by stats, but me personally I would stick to Hollow Armor because its passive is just so good. Now for accessories, get the Pepper Scarab. And please, I beg you, get the Master Ninja gear. The Pre-hardmode cultist stage, aka the absolute peak performance of a summoner class. So for the whips, the electric eel from the Duke Fishron is pretty decent pick, but it isn't even close to the kaleidoscope dropped by the Empress of Light. Now, since we are talking about the Empress of Light, for the minion summoning staffs, the best one is the Terra Prisma. This is the ultimate summoner staff, but if you want the second best, the Xeno staff is also pretty darn good. Now for the armor, this is the best looking one so far, and it is the spooky one. For accessories, there is really not much to upgrade, but if you are playing on the Explorer Master mode, get the Soaring Insignia. And now the final stage of the game, the pre-Moonlord. If you did get this far, I'm impressed actually. For whips, there's the new Constellation, crafted with 18 Staros fragments. And now for the minion summoning staff, if you don't have the Terra Prisma, get the Staros Dragon staff. And yeah, this is it. But please wait, there are also a few more items that can help you throughout your journey as a summoner. Either the Flask of Ichor or Flask of Venom are gonna help you a lot. There's also the summoning potion that increases your max number of minions by 1, and also a bewitching table that also increases your max number of minions by 1. And yeah, this is actually it. You know, making this video was kind of excruciating for me actually, but I enjoyed making this video. It was really fun. I hope that you liked it. Please like and subscribe. I'm actually really close to 500 subs, so I would appreciate it. And yeah guys, good night.